And so will my next guest, Trump's National Finance Committee member, Anthony Scaramucci, Republican bundler, Noelle Nikpour, and Democratic strategist, Richard Goodstein. Anthony, let me start with you. Last night was touted as the night to focus on the economy. We got some economic pitches, but we also had a whole lot of anti-Hillary pitches. I'd like to see more tonight, particularly from Mike Pence, who has a resume, Indiana, one of the best states to do business in. They've got a lot of great things. If we could apply to the overall country, I think we'll all be in better shape.
Well, there's no question, Charles, and so I think that's one of the main reasons why Mr. Trump picked Governor Pence. That state can be used as a laboratory for the other 49 states. Great credit rating, unbelievable infrastructure. They've cut taxes, and they're at relatively full employment, and they've got a fantastic K-12 educational footprint there as well. And so I think Governor Pence is going to expound upon that tonight. And I also think, speaking as a fundraiser for the Trump campaign, he's opened up a portal into the establishment for us, which we're very excited by.
Yeah, speaking of that portal, Noelle, you and I kind of talked the other day about the Koch brothers. Nothing on them just yet, but a lot of people saying tonight that portal could even open even wider, and the spigots can sort of turn if Ted Cruz says the right thing. You know these folks very well. How important is it that Ted Cruz come on board the Trump train?
Well, I think it is. It's important for a certain sector of the donor base. And I think a lot of these donors, once Ted Cruz kind of gives the official blessing on national television, I think that it will loosen up the coffers of some of these donors that are, let's just say, they're on the fence. And that's going to be very, very important because, let's face it, this is going to be a bloodbath. This is going to be a fight. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, and Donald Trump needs all the cash he can get. And some of these donors that are sitting on the cash, I think with Ted Cruz, you know, giving the blessing, I think this is going to be phenomenal and really help loosening that up.
You know, Richard, the interesting thing with the selection of Governor Pence, some of the things that they might have, the Democrats might have pushed back against a more traditional Republican candidate, they don't have with him. I think it's put them in something of a bind. You know, you can't really go after him on trade per se, or the war, or whatever they, you know, the sort of template, the borderline, the sort of stuff they always come out with. So Hillary Clinton, she's tweeting here and there, and she's trying to become aggressive. But how does she push back against Mike Pence, who a lot of people think was the perfect choice?
Right. So here's the problem, and I don't think it's just a Democratic kind of beef with Governor Pence. And we go back to the 2013 Republican autopsy. Remember? We were supposed, the Republicans, to do better in national elections, were supposed to do better first with women. Well, Mike Pence has pushed the most blatantly unconstitutional restrictions on abortion, even if the woman's life is at risk. As regards Hispanics, he's been opposed to any kind of comprehensive immigration reform. As to young people, he thinks climate change is a myth. He's not said anything constructive about income inequality. You know, the issues that the Republican brain trust thought needed to be dealt with, Mike Pence is doubling down on the things, and worse, in the aftermath of the Melania plagiarism, he's parroting this nonsense. Why don't they just say, look, we goofed up. We took it from Michelle Obama. That's not so bad. But to hear Mike Pence, I feel bad for him. Because think about, as VP, what his influence is going to be if he's out there like Chris Christie and Paul Manafort parroting this utter nonsense about how that speech was not plagiarized.
I'll let Anthony Scaramucci respond to that.
Well, listen, I mean, this is the sort of thing, this is sort of nonsense that they got to try to do. The first thing you learn in trial advocacy at Harvard Law School is to attack the person when you're wrong about the idea. So now we're going to pick on Melania Trump, who's a world-class, gorgeous person in every way, from the inside to the outside, because we really can't deal with Donald Trump and Governor Pence and the economic policies that they're going to have to solve the nation's problems. And so that will work for a little while, but the American people are super tired of that, and you can see that happening in the polls right now. And I know Richard's worried about it. I know Secretary Clinton is worried about it. And I'll tell you what, they got to be really worried about it, because there are 16 people in the Republican primary that the candidate beat, and they were a pretty talented group of people, so look out.
All right, Noelle, you know, again, I talked to you earlier about Ted Cruz and his speech. What about Mike Pence also? You know, it feels like more and more that sort of never Trump crowd is starting to fade. You know, some are coming on and enthusiastically. Others are saying, well, it's a binary choice and I want a Republican to win. I guess it doesn't matter as long as that train fills up. And I understand the goal beyond money is to get the polls to 90% of the GOP base. You think that that's starting to be accomplished here?
Absolutely, and I'll tell you why. I've been getting some calls from donors that after the Mike Pence selection was made, they were off the wall ecstatic. They were very happy about that because it also shows that Trump is not going to, he's going to reach outside of the system. I mean, Chris Christie is someone that's been his friend and been in the camp. But he reached across and he grabbed somebody that did not endorse him. You remember Pence endorsed Cruz. He actually reaches, over and grabs someone like Pence, who is a tough guy, and he's tough on policy. He is less government, low taxes, really a great choice, showing that Trump can choose someone like this is an example on how Trump is going to govern, and people that don't know how he's going to govern and don't know who he's going to, pick in his cabinet, now they can see it, and this was a smart choice, and I think that it will loosen some of these donors to give money and vote for him.